What are the best cases that you can buy for the iPhone 17 Pro Max right now? Today we are taking a look at my top 10 case list for the iPhone 17 Pro Max. Now before we get started, a few little disclaimers. Number one, nobody is sponsoring this video. No company knows I'm making this video. They have no idea where their case, if their case is on the list, or if it is, where it ranks on the list. Nobody has any idea except me. So that brings me to number two, which is this is my list. Your list may be different, and I can't wait to hear what you guys think about my list and tell me your list down in the comments below. But again, this is my list, so everybody just please be respectful in the comments, and let's go ahead and have a good time checking out the best cases, in my opinion, for the iPhone 17 Pro Max. Now, all links to all of these cases are down in the description below, as well as any discount codes that I may have, and if I did do a video on this case, I will leave that in the description as well. So let's go ahead and get started with some honorable mentions. Honorable mention number one, we have the Moft Movas snap case. Now, this is going to be a vegan leather case, but it's going to have nice metal buttons on both sides. It is going to have a very good camera control button. All of these cases in this video are going to have a good camera control button. So that's definitely something to note. Now the Movas is going to have a very good fit. All your corners, your sides, everything is very good. Of course, bringing over that MagSafe, we can go ahead and test that. Everything is very good when it comes to that. Nothing too crazy to write home about, but at this point, I'm not looking for the strongest, most craziest MagSafe. Some cases I do wish had a little bit better MagSafe, but this one is enough to pretty much get you by whatever you need. Now, the Movas is going to come in a bunch of different colors. Of course, you are getting some camera protection there, a tiny bit of a screen lip there, so you can kind of set this down on a flat surface or this one on its back definitely, and you will be fine. Now, the reason this is an honorable mention is because specifically it's a vegan leather case. I really enjoy this case. I've been loving it. If you guys saw my video on it, I had a really good time using it and reviewing this case. But unfortunately, in the top 10 case list, in my opinion at least, there's only a spot for a real full grain leather case. So that is the reason why the Moft Movas is in the honorable mentions, because even though it's a very, very good case, unfortunately it is that vegan leather, so it's not going to give you a patina. It's not going to change in feeling over time. But all around, this case is very good. Like I said, a bunch of different colors, whatever color you want to match your iPhone, whether you have the orange, the blue, the silver, doesn't matter. So all around, it is a very good case, but that is the reason why this is an honorable mention on my top 10 case list. Honorable mention number two, we have the Apple TechWoven case. Now, I'm shocked that I even have an Apple case in this video, but the TechWoven has really taken my list by storm. It was this close to actually making it in to that top 10 case list. The bottom of it is just a little tiny bit sharp for me. On this case, there's really no screen lip here. You get a tiny little bit of protection for the camera, but either way, it has a very, very nice texture on here. Not slippery at all. You do get, of course, all your accurate cutouts. Everything is very nice and clean because this is an Apple case. Of course, camera control button there. Everything is really good, but just because of the bottom right here, especially by the USB Type-C port, all the way around it is pretty sharp in my opinion. Now, I did do my original review on this case, and I've been using it a lot ever since then. And I gotta admit, I was definitely a little bit wrong about this case because of how much I actually like it, which, by the way, I will be making an update video on this case, so definitely stay tuned for that. But just for me, it's just slightly below the number 10 spot. I would give this like number 12, if anything, if this was a top 13. As you guys see with 3, 2 is this one. So number 2 in the honorable mentions, the Apple TechWoven case. Still very, very good case. Of course, we are going to get some pretty good MagSafe strength with this case. Really, nothing crazy, nothing to write home about, but it'll definitely work with all of your MagSafe accessories. Very good case on here, good fit going all the way around. It does take a good bit of pressure before that'll move, especially around the buttons, top, bottom. Of course, this is an Apple case, so you know it's gonna fit well. It's gonna have nice clicky buttons on here. They are standalone buttons, which is good. And just a very good case that really did surprise me this year. So that is why the Apple TechWoven is number 2 on the honorable mentions. And last honorable mention, we have the Pitaka UltraSlim. This case, originally when I reviewed it, I actually had a problem with the fit of the specific 600D black gray twill, this model right here, but the other ones fit much better. So I did reach out to Pitaka and I said, hey guys, listen, I'm having some fit issues. I've heard some other people had those issues. Some people didn't. Well, I reached out to them. They did send me a replacement, and this one does fit much better. It's actually gonna be one of the only cases I show you that on here, but if you watch my original video, this case did not fit on here. I mean, these corners are so tight. It did not fit on here well at all. As you see now though, not easy to get off whatsoever. So that is really the only reason why this could not make it in the top 10 case list, because unfortunately some people also did. It wasn't just a one-off with my case. Some people did also complain about the fit of certain Pitaka UltraSlim cases. So Pitaka, if you guys end up catching this video, as long as that quality control can be checked off and this case can be finally fixed to where everybody gets a really, really good fit, like this specific one does for me now, this could easily be in the top 10 case list. So for that specific reason, this case is going to be in the last honorable mention. Of course, you do get your open sides here, but Pitaka does give you a little cover for your camera control button here, which still does work. As you guys saw in my video, everything works just fine with this one. As you guys know, Pitaka has some very, very good MagSafe strength on here. I mean, you can really move this thing around and it works really well, which is shocking for how unbelievably thin this case is. And that's one of the best reasons I love this case, is because this phone is already beefy. It's thick, it's heavy. This case barely adds anything to it. Still feels really good, not slippery. Just those fitment issues are why it could not have made it in to my top 10 case list. But if that issue gets worked out in the future to where everyone across the board's case fits the way that this one does, you could easily find this case in my top 10 case list. All right, honorable mentions are over. Let's dive into that top 10. And starting with a controversial one, we have the Dbrand Tank as spot number 10. Now, this case is something different than anything else I have seen on the market. You get all these different ridges and dots and lines and all types of stuff here. You get a crazy grip going all the way around, but it's not enough to where it's like pulling out your pocket or anything like that. It is a hard TPU material there. Everything fits really, really well in this case. Now, you do get slight off cutouts right here where they're a little bit off, but Dbrand did mitigate that with a skin. They give you one with every single tank purchase now. If you haven't gotten one in yours, definitely hit them up. They'll give you one. But all around, this case is very nice. It's bulky. It's definitely a tank that lives up to its name, but it does not feel thick, in my opinion. Like, it's a little bit heavy. It's a little bit thicker than a lot of other cases, but it doesn't feel really, really thick. For example, like an OtterBox Defender or a lot of other cases out there. It still maintains a semi-slim profile while giving you all this protection. Very good grip all the way around. Every single which way you grab this, this will never slip out of your hand. Feels really good. Now, the case is definitely a little bit loud, right? It's not the same. Let's bring over an honorable mention. Not the same, not as, you know, clean and minimal as something like this, right? Definitely not, but it is going to make a statement. This is definitely a statement case. If you wear this out somewhere, somebody will for sure ask you about this. And I'll be honest with you guys, this is a polarizing case. People either love it or they hate it. There's a very little in between there, but all around, I'm really enjoying it. Of course, you get replaceable buttons here. Dbrand hit us with a ton of colors for these. Get whichever ones you want. I've been really enjoying the stealth black look, but I think I might switch these out to orange. Of course, we get the camera control button, works very well. Now, my biggest issue with this case is the bottom of it. This thing is pretty sharp. Going over here, now the USB Type-C port area for me is not sharp. Some people say it is to them. For me, the specific USB-C port area is not sharp. But this area right here, if you're someone like me, you hold your phone like this, the bottom of this case is definitely a little bit sharp. Now, I conveniently hold my case right under the USB Type-C port, just like that, so the sharp area does not affect me, but anytime you move your finger around there, it definitely will. So that is a big issue on why this case is so low on the top 10 case list. Now, just because it's low on the top 10 case list, take a step back. Think about how many cases there are on the market for the iPhone 17 Pro Max. Still, number 10 is fantastic. Any of these cases that you see, even between the honorable mentions or any of these other cases on here, if you made the list, it's a very, very good case. But nonetheless, with this case, you are getting some very good, strong MagSafe. You can use this with any of your accessories and it'll be fine. But because of how loud this case is, because of the bottom of this thing being pretty sharp, it's a very polarizing, pretty bulky, pretty, crazy case. That is why the Dbrand Tank is going to be number 10. Number 9, we are coming in with the Torras Q3 Air. Now, this case, if you guys saw my review for it last year, I was not a fan at all, but I ended up reviewing it. I used it more and more and more, this for the 16 Pro Max, and then I got it for the 17 Pro Max, and a couple of issues were slightly adjusted to the point where I really like this case. I started liking it a lot more later on in the year last year, but this time around, I am really having a good time using this case. So you are going to get all this little branding here on the back, all these little things. Of course, Torras gives you one of the best kickstands on the market. Very good hinge. You can use it at pretty much whatever angle. Of course, it rotates 360 degrees. Still going to provide you pretty good MagSafe strength, if you guys can see that. I mean, just for everything you need your day-to-day. But because of that O-stand ring right here, bringing over something like a pop socket, that may end up, you know, when you use it, it may end up popping off while it's in your hand. Not necessarily always off, depending on how good your MagSafe strength on your accessory is, but it may end up detaching specifically from the phone just like that. So that's kind of a little bit of a downside for me, not only necessarily with this case, but really with any O-stand type of case, any magnetic ring stand case like this. Now, when it comes to your screen protection on this case, that's one of the issues that I have with this. You do not get too much of a screen lift. Now, you can set this down on a flat surface. You'll be just fine, but be very careful on other ones. You still do, although, get a pretty good camera bump right there, so this can be set on whatever surface you want. Now, you are getting plastic replaceable buttons here and right there. Of course, camera control button. We gotta have that in 2025 iPhone 17 season. Have to have a camera control button. Good grips here on the sides that goes all the way up and down there. Nice shock absorbing corners. Really all around, I've been enjoying this case a lot. Now, a few issues that I have with it is the bottom. So right here, now I know a lot of people in my comments got on me, oh, B, the bottom is still sharp, it's still sharp. For me, it's only sharp right there and right there. All this, again, the way I hold my hand now, last year, it was sharp all the way around the bottom of the USB Type-C port. Now, it is only sharp on those little edges, but again, the way I hold mine comfortably under the USB Type-C port right in the middle, it's not sharp for me anymore, and that was a huge issue for me last year. Well, this year, it's not sharp in that specific spot, and that is definitely enough for me. Now, the reason this could not be so much higher in the list, I'm not a huge fan of all of this right here. If they released a version, even though it's frosted, that's perfectly fine. If they released a version that was just, that didn't have all this, I understand this adds a little bit of texture to the back, but if it just had maybe a pattern or something without the air, without all this, without all that, I would really like that a lot more. It's still a great case, still love it, but just it's a little too loud. There's a little too much. If you work in a professional environment, I feel like a case like this may not be something you could use every day. If you're having like an important meeting, a business meeting, whatever the case may be, you're giving a presentation and you have this, it's just a little too much going on the back of this case for me. But otherwise, very, very good case. I'm loving the Torras Q3 Air, and that is why it is number 9 on my list. Coming in at number 8, we have the Caudabe Synthesis Frosted. Now, this is something a little bit different. Caudabe hasn't done something like this, at least not in a while, and honestly, I am loving this thing. So, of course, the back is frosted. You are not getting any texture really here on the back. I do love that it's not completely clear, so you don't see the weird placement of your Apple logo as much. Of course, you get your MagSafe ring and alignment magnet visible there. That's okay with me, though. You get these fantastic micro dots right here on the sides, on this side, on that side. I love that it goes past the camera control button. Of course, we get a very good camera control button here. You do get your replacement buttons, which of course Caudabe does sell a bunch of different colors. Feel free to make it your own. Very good. This case has some good grip going all the way around, which definitely makes up for having no texture here on the back. Now, this thing is a little bit on the bulkier side, especially compared to Caudabe's other cases like the Sheath and the Paragon, for example. It's definitely a little bit more bulky. Now, I do wish we got a little tiny bit better of a screen lip on here, but it's definitely not bad. You can set this down. You'll be pretty much fine for the most part. Camera plateau area could have a tiny, tiny bit of a bigger lip, but still, that'll be just fine no matter which surfaces you set this on. The buttons are very good. The bottom is not sharp at all. Really good coming around for the fit. Everything fits very, very well. Of course, you get these little flat edges right here for swiping. Caudabe definitely thought about that. All around, this is a very good case, but because it's a frosted case, it doesn't necessarily come in a bunch of other colors. It does come in a black version as well, just a plain black, but that is the reason why this is going to be down a little bit lower on my list. It's a little bit bulkier. It's a frosted case, so you can't really, mask the color of your phone. Let's say you want to make something a little bit different. You want to do something like if you take this out and you're wearing like a very nice, suit or anything like that, this may not be necessarily the case you want to go with. You might want to go with something that's just like a lot more cleaner, like black or gray, where you still see a little bit of that color around, especially the precise cutouts, or even a fully open cutout, but just not as loud as something like this. But all around, a very good case. I have loved using this case, the Caudabe Synthesis Frost. Probably one of my favorite frosted cases when it comes to the 17 Pro Max. And of course, bringing over the MagSafe, Caudabe has that very, very good MagSafe, nothing to complain about whatsoever. So for those reasons, the Caudabe Synthesis Frost is going to be number 8 on my list. Now, number 7 was almost a tie. This was the hardest choice out of the bottom 5 of the cases because we're talking about leather. So I was very close to deciding between these two. I kept thinking about it the last couple weeks and thinking about it and thinking about it. I was comparing these two cases so much because they're so similar and they're both very good. We were talking about the difference between the Andar Aspen and the Ryan London shell case metal. So the number 7 spot is going to go to the Andar Aspen. I'll tell you why. Now, with the Ryan London specifically, when you take these both brand new out of the box, yes, the Ryan London does feel a little tiny bit better, feels a little bit more grippy, but after using both of these for a while now, they end up feeling eventually the same. However, Andar is going to have the upper hand by far when it comes to the colors that this thing comes with. Now, this is going to be that Tech Perp colorway. You're getting a red, a blue, black, sand, browns, like all these different colors. Whereas with the Ryan London, you get 3. You get black, dark brown, and light brown. So both of them are going to fit so similarly. They're going to have the same basically buttons. Everything is really, really good. I mean, even just comparing these two side by side, completely two different brands. Both are excellent. I do, however, give the upper hand to the Andar Aspen. You are getting a very nice feeling full grain leather. After a little while, it gets a little bit more grippy. Give it a few hours and you'll even start noticing it. Of course, you're getting nice metal clicky buttons. You do get a little bit of Andar logo here. You get, of course, that camera control button, which last year I did have a little slight issue with their camera control button. Apparently mine was just a little bit defective, but just to prove it, you gotta show the people, you know what I mean? You gotta do it, Very, very good camera control button. Now, I know I'm not testing it on all of these different cases because a lot of them, you just take my word for it. If you didn't see the review, watch the review. But in the top 10, I had to show it on the Aspen because of last year. But all around, a very, very good case. I love all their color options. This is a very non-conventional color combo, the orange and the purple, but I kind of like it. This is what I've been using a lot with the Aspen specifically, but very good. You get, I mean, like I said, so many color options. I really love the way the black Aspen looks with the orange. Everything about it is so good. You get, of course, good MagSafe strength, especially for a leather case. Nothing to spit at all. Everything is good. Good alignment when it comes to everything all the way around. A very, very, very solid fit, even around your buttons, your top, your bottom. Now, just like I said, the Ryan London, in this case, fits so similarly. Even the inside materials, they both have the microfiber. Everything is just so close, but I have to give it to the Andar Aspen. And then taking a look at that screen and camera lip, you get a very slight screen lip with this, but again, it's a leather case, not really meant to protect your phone. You definitely get a slight camera plateau lip right there, so that's good. Of course, that is metal. The buttons are metal. Set this down on whatever surface, but it definitely will show some scratches, some nicks, dings, all that, because it's a full grain, real leather case, and I am loving this thing. I can't wait to see this purple color patina as well as all the other colors I have. I really also love the stone color. I think it looks very good with the orange. So for all those reasons, the Andar Aspen is number 7 on my top 10 case list. Coming in at number 6, you cannot have a top 10 case list without the Dbrand Grip. Now, of course, by the name of it, you are getting the best grip on this case out of any other case that you will find. These grip spikes here, the micro dot, almost like sandpaper texture going all the way around. A good camera control button on here. Built-in buttons, but still nice and clicky, and they do have some texture on them. And they even made the grip significantly slimmer than it was before. So it feels very good in the hand. It doesn't matter. I don't care if you have like olive oil on your hands. This is not coming out of your hands. You're getting a super, super tight fit. Of course, with Dbrand, we know you get the top and the bottom lips right there for your screen. Set it on whatever surface you want. the beautiful, nice, accurate, precise cutouts on there, and it looks very good. Of course, you're going to get that protection. None of these cases are going to rock, but if you guys know the Dbrand Grip, this thing has never rocked. It is always solid. Even when we had just the regular cameras here, everything was good. Of course, not going to rock. Set this down whatever surface you want, you will be good to go. Coming in with that MagSafe test, they even improved the MagSafe on this case. Dbrand really knocked it out of the park with the grip. Now, my biggest gripe with it, well, two gripes with this case. Number one, the back of it is going to eventually scratch. If you do not use a skin on here, it's just that material. You do get a little Dbrand Grip logo right there, no big deal. But like I said, it is going to scratch a little bit. Now, when you do apply a skin on this, which is actually one of my favorite things about this case, is that you and 10 other people could have a Dbrand Grip. None of you may have the same looking phone because of all of the different skins that Dbrand has. You got glow-in-the-dark ones, you got black ones, white ones, red ones, orange ones, whatever color you want, you can get with this case, and I love that. I don't have a skin actually on here because I really enjoy using this case by itself without a skin, but when you do have a skin on here, it definitely takes a little bit of a hit towards the MagSafe on this case. So for all those reasons, still a very good case. I always love the Dbrand Grip. The Dbrand Grip is number 6 on my top 10 case list. All right, top 5, let's go. This has been one of the most challenging top 10 case lists that I've ever done. I've only done a few of them, but I've always been such a case person. I've been loving them, and it has been, my brain's been frying with this entire list, but especially this top 5 has been so tough. I think you guys are gonna love number 5. There's a lot of you guys in my previous videos who are like, hey, where is this case? Why is this not on the top 10 case list? It's finally here. Number 5, we have the Mous Limitless for the iPhone 17 Pro Max in that Aramid. Now, here's the thing. The back of this is not really textured, but of course you get that nice grip there. Very nice, clicky standalone buttons on here. Of course, now we get that beautiful camera control button, which last year, not gonna lie, guys, that's the reason why you didn't even see this case anywhere close to this list is Mous didn't do a great job with that camera control button, but they said, you know what, 17 Pro Max, we're putting our best foot forward. We're gonna give you a little bit of a slimmer case with the same protection and a fantastic camera control button. So let's go ahead and just taking a look at that MagSafe here. That's one thing where this case does lack a little bit is the MagSafe strength. It is definitely noticeably better in my opinion than it was last year. However, it could still be a little bit better. Now, you are getting a pretty good screen lip when it comes to that. Set this on whatever you want. Same thing with your camera plateau. Pretty decent there. Nothing to spit at. And this thing, here's the thing about Mous cases. You are going to get some insane drop protection. If you guys see their ads, they take this thing and launch it up in the air right out front of the Apple Store. I think I saw a video of them launching it down a canyon or something. Like, Mous goes crazy with the marketing. Their marketing team is A1. But this is a very, very good case. Love how slim it is. Love the way it feels in the hand. Very comfortable. Even though there's no texture on the back, it's this like soft touch feeling. I do wish they would just get rid of this right here or black it out. I think that would look way better with this case specifically. But with Mous, you get bamboo, you can get walnut, you can get all types of different colors and, you know, designs and stuff like that. My favorite is, of course, the Aramid one. That's why it's here. But all around, this is a very good case. The only two things plaguing this case. One, that MagSafe, but I can look after that. You know, as long as it connects and works, it'll work just fine with all your MagSafe mounts, car chargers, all that. The biggest issue plaguing this case is that price. This price has to come down. I believe this case is like $80. I understand some of the cases on this list could be a little pricey, but for $80, I think this is just a little too much in my opinion. If you can catch it on sale, if you see the time of this release video, it is the week of Black Friday, so you might be able to catch this on a sale. If you do, 100% pick it up because it's a fantastic case. But I just think that if this was like 60, 65 bucks, that would be perfect. If you could get this down to 55, instant A1, go ahead, yes, absolutely, right now, buy it. But $80 is a little bit too much, in my opinion, when it comes to certain cases, and I think this could easily have been a $60, $65 case, and it would be, I think, even higher in the top 10. But because of that price point specifically, and the MagSafe could be a little bit better, this is going to be sitting at number 5 on the top 10 case list. Coming in at number 4, welcome back Pitaka. We have the Pitaka UltraGuard for the iPhone 17 Pro Max. Now, you are getting very nice clicky standalone buttons here, very good camera control buttons, a little bit of Pitaka logo right there. No real texture on this case, which is why I could not rate this higher, one of the reasons why. But also, you know, you're getting a very good fit going all the way around. Top, bottom, everything is very good about this case. Actually, in my video, if you guys saw, I had a little issue where I may have stretched this part right here, the camera control, a little too hard. Again, Pitaka, shout out to Pitaka, man. I reached out to Pitaka and I was like, hey guys, listen, I had the 2 issues, right? I had the UltraSlim, I had the UltraGuard. My Ultras had some issues. They sent me a replacement case. Everything is fantastic with this case. Now, price on this, again, one of the plaguing issues, $80. It's a lot. It's a lot for this case, in my opinion. But you are getting a slight screen lip there. Could definitely be better, especially for an Ultra named case and especially for $80. But you can set this down on flat surfaces. You'll be all right. Setting it down on your camera plateau, you do get a nice camera plateau protection there. So set this down on whatever surface you want. You'll be good. Now, a little bit after using this case, it doesn't necessarily feel too slippery. There's no texture whatsoever on anything. But Pitaka, if you guys add, if this aramid fiber was textured here, and if this could be dropped down in price a little bit, I think you could have easily a top 3 case in your hands. I need a little more screen lip. I need the price to come down a little bit. It's $80. That's a little bit of a lot for something like this. You know, again, just like the mouse, I'd like to see this in the $55 price range. I think that would be fantastic for this case. You're getting good protection with it. You're getting very nice clicky buttons. Of course, you know Pitaka's MagSafe, man. You know Pitaka's MagSafe. Almost dropped it. You are good when it comes to the MagSafe. Everything about it, I have been loving this case, but just those few slight issues are why this could not be in my top 3, but still number 4 is very good. Pitaka UltraGuard, number 4 on that top 10 case list. All right, top 3. You ready? Let's get started. Here we go. Number 3, Caudabe Sheath. Guys, you know me. You know how much I love the Caudabe Sheath. This case has been top 3 all the time. It has been number 1 before. It's been number 2 before. Sitting at number 3, I have been loving the Sheath. Now, you are getting a great grip going all the way around. This almost like sandpaper style feeling. Very nice, precise cutouts. Everything looking good there. Very tiny little branding right there, right? The bottom of it, not a pinky destroyer at all. Feels very good. You get those little tiny edges for swiping. Here's the thing. I would like to see a little bit more of a screen lip on this case. I think this is a very good case. This has always been one of my favorite cases. But I think, first of all, they definitely made it a little bit slimmer this year. That is noticeable. But I would love to see a little tiny bit of a screen lip there. I think that would make this just that much better. Camera plateau, you are pretty good. All your camera lenses are individually precise cutout. Now, Caudabe does also make a full open cutout version, which I will have soon. You guys will see that in the review. So if that's your preference, you can have that. If this is your preference, you can have this. Of course, the nice replaceable buttons. Caudabe makes a ton of different colors. Use that. Very good camera control as per usual. Bringing over the MagSafe. You guys know Caudabe's MagSafe, man. Very, very, very good MagSafe strength on this case. All around, I've always had a special spot in my heart for the Sheath. And no, it has nothing to do with Caudabe sending it to me or whatever. Like I said, nobody sponsored this. For all Caudabe knew, they could have been number 10. Like, nobody knows about this list. But I've always just really, really enjoyed the Caudabe Sheath. This is one of those cases, you can use it for any single occasion. This is a lot of the time the case that I'm taking to meetings. I'm taking to, if I'm dressing up, if I'm wearing like a suit or something. The Sheath, so minimal, so elegant. Everything looks very nice. Now, it is going to come in a couple of different colors. You get a few of those, so that's nice. You can kind of choose whatever you want. And all around, it is a very good fitting case. You got to give it a little movement. Top, bottom is good. Camera control. Everything is very good about this case. That screen lip, though, is just where I'm at. I would love to see this have a little tiny bit more of a screen lip. So, with all that being said, that is why the Caudabe Sheath is sitting at number 3 on the top 10 case list. Oh, man. Number 2 was this close to being number 1. I feel like I said it last year, too. It was this close. Number 2, we have the Phone Rebel Gen 7, right? This case is almost perfect. Very nice texture here on the back. Yeah, it's a little fingerprint magnet, but who cares? Wipe it down, you'll be all right. Very good texture on the back. These incredible spikes on the side that aren't too rough. They actually smooth them down a little bit so they're not as rough. They go all the way up and down the side. Good protective corners. Very nice screen lip with these claws that they call them. Set that down, you'll be good. Good camera plateau, right? Great replaceable buttons. This camera, all these buttons are black when you get started. I swapped them with orange, and still, even after swapping the camera control button, look at that. Oh, just took a screenshot. Even still, a very, very good camera control button with this case. I only have 2 issues when it comes to this case. Number 1, this piece right here. I would love to see this just go away. Phone Rebel, if you guys see this, please remove this. This replaceable piece, I understand you want it fully customizable, you want it to look different, but I think this is a little bit unnecessary. I would love to see just a clean aramid fiber all the way up and down. It already has your Rebel logo right there, so people know what it is. I think this is a little redundant, and I would love to see this part go away. Just make it nice and smooth and fresh. Yeah, a little bit of a fingerprint magnet. As you guys can see as I'm using it, gets them. I don't care about that, though. That doesn't bother me at all. Wipe it down with a little microfiber cleaning cloth or with a wet nap, you'll be all right. So this is just that one thing here, but also going around the sides, amazing fit, literally everywhere, right? But then you get to the top and you just have this little flap here. Now, not an issue. Stuff will not get under there. You'll be just fine using it. I still love this case. But if this was as tight as all of this is, or even as tight as the bottom, you could have been easily, I think, looking at a number 1 spot case here. Everything is so good. I mean, do we even have to test Phone Rebel's MagSafe? This is going to have one of the strongest MagSafes in the entire case game. I mean, this is insane MagSafe strength. Everything about this case is just so damn good. I just would love to see those 2 issues fixed. This part right here, the movement, and this to just go away. But all around, I can 100% every single day, all day, recommend the Phone Rebel Gen 7. It is absolutely worth every single penny that it costs. I believe it's like $55. I could be a little wrong. Again, all links are in the description. Worth every single penny. I love the Phone Rebel Gen 7. That is why this is going to be number 2 in the top 10 case list. All right, we came down to the last one. The number 1 case on my top 10 case list for the iPhone 17 Pro Max is going to be the Caudabe Paragon. Now, here's the thing. This is going to be Caudabe's newest case. Besides the design on the Synthesis Frost, this case came out last year, took the whole case game by storm. It is such a good case. Now, I have the orange one. It's also going to come in black, and I believe a moonstone color it still comes in, which is that beautiful white, like pearlescent with the gray sides, but that's only going to have your open cutouts, not precise. Again, just like the Sheath, this is going to come in open and precise cutouts. I have the precise version. Beautiful cutouts, no complaints there. No real logos or markings. I don't have the black one on hand, unfortunately, to show you guys, but the black is so clean. Of course, you get your replaceable buttons, metal buttons here from Caudabe. Replace them to whatever color buttons you want. An excellent camera control button that is color matched to the case. You are getting very good grips going here on the sides of this case. Now, the back of it is not textured, but I still don't find it slippery. Let me know if you guys have a Caudabe Paragon down in the comments below. I've talked to a few other people and they also kind of agree where it's like, it's not textured, but it's not slippery, if that makes sense. I hope it does, because I have been really, really enjoying this case. Camera plateau, you'll be just fine. Set it down on whatever surface you want. Screen lip, it has that same thing where the bottom and the top are raised. Good size screen lip here as well, whereas the sides are flush, so you get perfect swiping from the sides. The bottom and the top have that little, let me turn the screen off. Bottom and the top have that flattened edge right here for easy swiping. All around, this is just such a fantastic case. Of course, bringing over the MagSafe, good MagSafe strength on here, be just fine. Use it on whatever surface you want, whatever device you want, your car mounts, your nightstand chargers, your battery packs, all that. The Caudabe Paragon has just really, really been one of the cases that I just constantly go back to. It was last year. I recently got this one in. The review is coming very soon. I've just been loving the Paragon. You get a little bit of a logo on the top, nothing else. Love that. Just picture this in black, and it is so, so clean. Good grips, everything about it is just so solid. The fit on this case is fantastic. Top is good, bottom is pretty good. Everything is just so good about this case. You can set it down on whatever surfaces you want it to be protected. The back doesn't get scratched up too easily. The Caudabe Paragon is an excellent case. Also worth every single penny that they charge for it. And I do have a discount code that is in the description, so you can even save a couple of bucks on it. 100% I can fully stand on the Caudabe Paragon being #1 on the top 10 case list. So that's been the top 10 for the iPhone 17 Pro Max. We are going to do a part 2 later on in the year. Let me know what you guys think about this entire list. What is your top 10? What are the cases you're using the most? I cannot wait to talk to you all in the comments because I've been loving all these cases. This has by far been the most difficult top 10 I've ever made. So yes, definitely let me know what you think and what you use down in the comments. Make sure you guys like the video and subscribe to the channel. That goes a really long way for me and allows me to make these videos for you. And if you guys want to see my best cases that you can buy at Best Buy right now, I'll leave that video right here.